Hey YouTube, Shuken Shinobi here with a review of the S.H.Figuarts Kamen Rider V3 from Kamen Rider V3. That wasn't obvious enough. So here is the box. This was a May release, by the way, so it's done in a nice green style with a silver accents. Very cool red background. The Showas all have nice colored backgrounds, which is nice. Option parts, it's movable, molding, yay. There's V3 down there doing his henshin pose, which I may or may not pose him in. So, probably will, by the way, spoilers. So, here we have V3, very cool. He's got kind of a skirt dealy going on, which is just how the suit was. He was basically wearing a shirt. So it kind of looks like a weird skirt, and I'm not going to make any sort of comments on how that crotch area looks, but we'll just keep that to ourselves. I really like it. The Showa era figures have been absolutely phenomenal. Both in articulation, in sculpt, in color, in everything good in life. So, V3 is no exception. The head sculpt, I think, is pretty well done. It looks kind of weird. V3 is not my favorite head sculpt or not head sculpt, but just helmet in general. It kind of looks like it's trying really hard to get a mouth in there, and it just kind of looks derpy, but overall pretty nice. The antennae are just a hard plastic. They will break if it takes a fall, so make sure he doesn't fall from that high of a distance. But outside of that, the chest area is done pretty well for what they had to work with, and I do have to give props on the joints of these guys. I really like the way that the shoulders were handled. It's basically this entire ball area is basically the giant swivel, and then it's on an individual hinge in there. So way more movement than you'd probably ever need in the shoulder area on these guys, and that is incredible. He's got these little belt-esque things right up here on his shoulders, which don't hinder the articulation anyway, because they are very pliable. The back scarves and the back in general looks really cool. You can kind of see the whole brace, kind of looks like a back brace, going on through here, and then the belt of the belt. Unlike the other guys, his belt is not a separate piece. It is pretty secure in there. So keep that as you will. But the scarf pieces are nice as well. These are just the standard flat ones. It does come with optional scarves, which I will go over shortly. It does include a butt plug. In terms of articulation, you've got the shoulder that I just went over, ab crunch right there, a little bit of movement in the lower chest area. This does tend to get out of whack, so you have to make sure you readjust it. Double joint right there at the knee, and that's actually a really nice double joint. It reminds me a lot of the way Figmas handle their joints. The standard Figuarts double joint at the elbow, wrist joint. Head articulation is optimal. He looks about as far up as he should, given the fact that there's a person in there. So props on there, because it's actually a very nice joint. The leg articulation isn't particularly hindered by the skirt at all. I'm not a huge fan of these joints, but these are kind of the leg joints that they're sticking with, so can't complain too much there. And then the normal plastic ball jointed foot. Yay or nay, depending on your thoughts on those. So that is all for V3's figures. So let's take a look at the accessories. For hands, we have these pointy hands, which are for the henshin pose, as shown on the box. You get a pointy hand, and then you get a holding the V3 hopper, which is right here. It's a little satellite-esque launcher thingy, which is pretty fun. I've never seen V3, so I can't really say exactly what it's for. I'm just kind of going off wiki, but he can hold that, so that's always fun. It's like, hey, look at my... Dawson said it would look like an energy drink. It does kind of look like an elongated Red Bull can. But anyway, keep that one aside because I'll probably end up needing that. 2 V for victory pose hands, which are neat because he's V3 after all. Then you've got 2 relaxed hands, because everyone needs relaxed hands. 2 more of these Now you can hold it just straight like that. You can also use these to hold like various weapons, like the sword thing that Ichigo came with. Then karate chop hands because he needs to ride or chop. So you got that. You have the holster for the V3 hopper when it's not in use. That can just attach right here. You just unplug it and then plug this one in. It's a little tiny ball and socket. So pretty easy to remove. I'm not going to display him with the V3 hopper by any means, so that will stand there. For these blowing in the wind scarves that they give us, just pop these off as normal. They're just little tiny ball and sockets. Then you just pop it in. Now he's like, oh, I'm epically blowing in the wind. I am a model. Gorgeous. And then you can obviously get two of them to make it make sense. So I'm not going to bother posing him with those. So I'm going to put the normal one back on. Very easy to do, unlike some of the scarves. These ones are actually incredibly easy to remove. So props to him on that. Before I get him in his henshin pose, there is one last thing to go over. The kick effect part, which is actually done in a red color and is a completely different kick effect part than what we've seen with Ichigo and Nigo. Unlike most kick effect parts, where you just slide the foot in and go, hey look, it's my kick effect part. You can do that with this one, thanks to friction. So if you're lazy, you can kind of do it like that, but that's not how you officially do it. It's not that easy. It's actually quite difficult, and it's bothersome a bit. You have to remove this front panel right here. Remove that. This will let this piece slide out. Be warned that this piece comes out relatively easy. You don't need to remove this piece. I'm just showing you that it does remove and it comes out quite easily. So you might want to glue that part in. It is completely up to you. Push his foot down in there as far as you can get it. Take this piece, put it back while placing it on top of his foot. Push it down. And then you take this piece and slide it back in. It does take a bit of finickiness. Thumbs up if you've just seen the fly there. And like I said, this does take a lot of kind of patience and got to work with the figure. There goes that fly again. He is nuts. He's been driving me crazy all night. Like I said, this is not the easiest thing in the world to do. And I just have very, very bad luck when it comes to these things as well. There we go. So now that is solid in place. You do have a little bit of pliability with the way his feet move in there. Words. And this part, like I said, loves to pop out. You might want to put a dab of glue on there just to secure that in place. But there you go. His kick effect part is in perfectly fine. Isn't going anywhere. And like I said, you do have a little bit of ankle movement in there to pose it exactly how you want to. So it's actually a pretty cool kick effect. I like the fact that it is stable. There's no way that this is going to fall out just over time by just normal expansion. So that's nice. It does take a little bit of finesse to get in, but it's a pretty cool effect piece overall. And it's just kind of a shame that it's very difficult to get in and out. So I'm just going to time skip to where this is no longer attached to his foot. So while I was time shifting, I took a liberty of putting him in a henshin pose, I think, and summon my display stand. So, V3, if you're a fan of the Showa era, or a fan of the OG3, as I like to call him, or just you really like V3, then this is an absolute awesome figure, and probably the ultimate version of V3 that you could possibly buy outside of buying the real action hero. So I definitely recommend it. Particularly since the only other V3 figure art you could buy is this guy, and this is his future past self. And I'm not a big fan of that movie or those designs. So for now, Ichigo and Nigo will join him as he spins around in great justice. So, very, very cool. If you, like I said, if you're a fan of V3, then by all means, pick him up. Just like Ichigo and Nigo, very fantastic mold. Very little complaints. All the details there. No articulation is really hindered, and all the colors are fairly accurate in my opinion. So, yeah, definitely pick up V3 if you're a fan of the Showa era. Obviously, it is a must-have if you are. So you can check out shukanshobi.com for all these updates on my reviews and hauls. And of course, check out ridersrangersandrambles.com, bringing you the latest token news fly in the craziest way possible. So take care and have a great one. Bye.